Everybody, welcome back to SaviTalk, the best conversation you're going to hear all day. Glad to be back with you. It's me, David Lee, of course. Henrique here. What's going on, my man?
Hey, David.
Good to see you, man. It's been a little bit, man.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yes.
Missed you, man.
Me too.
I don't know. I should move to Canada.
And Simon too.
I know.
Jim.
Where's Simon been?
I don't know.
Anyway. Listen, we got a great episode coming up today. We have Ayan Roy, head of cybersecurity at EY, coming by to have a conversation. We're going to get into some stuff. We're going to talk about identity security. We're going to talk about where the industry is going. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. All right, Ayan, welcome, man.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Excited.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yep.
Ricky, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Great show.
Yeah?
We're in Texas. Great to have amazing guests here. Thank you for joining us.
No.
Thank you, Henrique.
Anybody had any barbecue yet?
I have not.
I mean, you know, we're in Dallas.
I had
so
eaten Indian food.
You what? Indian food in Dallas?
I think it's
What do you-
inevitable, right?
I mean,
Hanging with
okay.
the people that we hang out.
Okay, that's true. But I'm just saying, you're in Dallas, so you got
And I had both. I had Indian food Monday night and pork chops last night.
Okay.
And they
There
were
we go.
both amazing.
Yeah. So it was weird. We had went to a dinner last night, and all right, so we're in Dallas, and we were talking about the different things on the menu. We're talking about different like barbecue sauces, things like that. So they had a Carolina barbecue
What
on a
is that?
Dallas menu, which is crazy. So, all right, there's different kind of barbecue sauces for people that don't know, right? And like Carolina barbecue sauces use like a vinegar based kind of sauce, but like in Texas, right? This is when you move to Texas. There's three things you get as soon as you get here, right? You get your ID, right? You get a gun, and they tell you about barbecue sauce, right? And so, like Texas has their own type of barbecue sauce. So the fact that we're at a Texas restaurant and they allowed Carolina barbecue, I was like, I don't know who this chef is, but I don't know how
not
they
from here,
allowed
maybe.
this. Clearly. So anyway, it was just interesting. So I got to make sure I grabbed
Was
some
it good?
barbecue. It wasn't. I don't really like the Carolina style barbecue sauce. Anyway, so it was just one of those things. But anyway,
Amazing.
what do you guys think about the show so far?
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. It's amazing to see all the innovation that's happening around AI security. And our clients need that. So it's amazing to see all the new development. So excited for solving the AI security problem for our clients.
Yeah. How do you think that we've been watching this industry, right, for the last, couple of years kind of transform from, identity and IT administrations, identity security, right? We're going to come to IVIP in a second.
Oh my God.
I know. It came up a couple of,
You did?
It came up last night in the conversation. We're going to get to that. But like this move to identity security and how we have to look at it now, I'm interested, Ayan, to get your take on how do you think we need to look at it now, right? Because I think for the longest time, we've kind of looked at identity more so not as an enabler, but more so like as a cost center, it's a thing that we have to do.
Yeah.
But now I think it's different now. We kind of really have to start leaning at it a little bit differently. So
Absolutely.
what's your take on that?
Absolutely. No, couldn't agree more. I've been working in this space for over 25 years. And back in the days, it was single sign-on. Then we went to compliance. And now what is so exciting is identity security. And what I mean by that is if you look at what is happening around us now, a lot of nation-state actors are using AI to create more advanced threats and attacks. And the time to exploit is reducing in a big way. So what we are now trying to share with our clients and discuss with our clients is how to build the right defense in depth. And identity is a critical component, is a critical layer to build the right defense in depth. The one other data point I'll share with you, David, is we do a lot of shadow investigations. Post-breach, we go in and we look at how the threat actors exploited and the kill chain. 90% of those attacks, we have seen lateral traversal, privilege escalation.
Oh.
And the countermeasure for that, again, comes back to identity. How do we secure our privileged, not just human IDs, but the non-human IDs as well? So identity is now in the forefront. We need more identity signals going to all our endpoint detection, into your SIM, security event monitoring, and that is a fundamental countermeasure now to deal with the advanced threats.
Which is, no, and I agree 100%, especially if you think about, for me, it would be so obvious if you think of the attack chain. and the critical path being identity. I don't remember last time I saw a breach or an attack which didn't involve identity.
Correct.
So why do you think leaders and organizations they don't embrace that, and identity is still seen as this perhaps the stepchild of cybersecurity? Why are we not talking about that more? And or maybe they are. Do you think your clients are now perceiving the importance of identity and giving a different look at this?
Absolutely, yes. And so, Enrique, I'll share again a story. I was talking to a good friend of mine. He's the cyber leader at a private equity entity. And when we were having a conversation, he said, I wish I did more identity growing up to become a CISO. And that was music to my ears. He grew up the ranks being an attack and pen tester to building some of the most sophisticated cyber operations center, SOC. He was one of the best architects that I've known for SIM. And coming from someone like that and saying that I should have done more identity and that was an eye-opener for me as well, because now a lot of cyber leaders are realizing the importance of identity. Like, to make zero trust really work, you need conditional access in addition to microsegmentation. And that is, in my mind, a realization the industry is realizing, business leaders and cyber leaders are now realizing that identity is a critical countermeasure. And identity security really helps us build the right defense in depth. Like, without identity security, we cannot have AI security.
And I love it because, knowing you work for EY, right? And you are in charge of a much broader scope than just identity in
Yes.
cybersecurity. So having that context of the growth of importance, I think, and the advocacy on the topic, I hope we didn't have to talk so loud about this and the importance about this, but I think as you're telling us, I think we see the tables turning a little bit.
Yes.
And identity not only having a seat at the table, as I think we spoke in other episodes, having the biggest seat as well. So to your point, CISOs having to have this knowledge about identity. But let me perhaps ask a few different angles on this, which is, how about the identity practitioner having to learn more about threat detection?
Yes.
They having to learn about this taxonomy of what an attack chain is and what this means to them. So do you think, do you see EY or yourself talking to your clients, also approaching identity teams having to learn this new skill in cyber?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. And Enrique, you bring up an excellent point. As identity practitioners, we have often thought about new hire, transfer, termination, authentication type of controls. What we now need to learn is, how do we integrate with the right data security tools? How do we integrate with our threat and vulnerability management tools? How do we do a better job of managing non-human IDs and integrating with operational technology, OT security solutions? So that is very critical. A lot of as we work with our clients, it is very difficult to build the right security with just one product.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're talking to our clients right now is, how do we bring the ecosystem of our alliances? We're working with our alliances like Savient and CrowdStrike, building the solutions, integrating the solutions. And that is so important. The other layer that we are very focused on, we have to, as identity practitioners, we also have to understand what are the business trends, what is happening in the business. And hybrid is here to stay.
Yeah.
NVIDIA is pushing GPUs on-prem. Hybrid is absolutely here to stay. How do we create a single pane of glass across different hyperscalers? How do we create a single pane of glass so we have more visibility into what's happening so that we can build the right defenses?
Hybrid. And it's interesting because we spoke about hybrid cloud for so long and having on-prem with SaaS and IaaS. Are you talking about hybrid in a sense of intelligence as well? The hybrid of human intelligence, artificial intelligence, and the combination of both?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I would say hybrid, on-prem, in the cloud, multiple hyperscalers. So we are absolutely seeing that with our clients. And that's primarily being driven by resiliency. So we've seen some outages now.
Yeah.
And humans in the loop is so critical right now. So we are using AI for our L1, L2 automation. And humans in the loop is so important to kind of drive the accuracy and the speed of cyber threat management.
How do we make a shift from moving identity from like this cost center mentality, like to this enablement mentality, right? And outside of the solutions, right? But really driving this thought mindset of these leaders, right? So I want to dig into that example of you, the guy you were talking about saying like, I wish I did more identity coming up, right? And we've had this conversation, a number of times of a lot of these leaders, a lot of the thing with identity, 80% of it is the tech. This other 20%, which is this big chasm they have to cross, is all the other stuff. And I was having a conversation about this last night. It's the horse trading, talking to the application owners, getting your committee together, right? And really understanding across the business, like why this is so important and getting all those things done to actually build the program. And now when we look at this, like the business gets it, identity isn't everything. And we can say that it's an enabler. But how do we work with the rest of our industry? How do we help our practitioners do that, right? And then say, okay, well, it's an enabler, but so then how do we enable the business, right? Like how do we work with the rest of our peers to go enable the business, and how do we get the business to look at it like that?
Yeah. So excellent question. So this is when I start dating myself. So about 25 years ago, I was working for an automotive company.
So when you were 5.
And in the automotive company, they were the market leaders in all segments with the exception of the new first-time car buyers. So what this automotive company decided to do was they wanted to launch a new brand to get the first-time car buyers to start buying this brand. And so back then, I had an 8-month timeline to get web single sign-on onto those web properties. And they came to us and said, the business came to us and said, we are going to launch the portal for this new brand in 8 weeks at the New York Auto Show. So we either get security done in 8 weeks, and my traditional SDLC was 8 months, or I'm going to go without security. So that was my alternative. And I worked with IT infrastructure to kind of enable the business. So I kind of started doing this way back in my career.
Right.
And I have always taken that philosophy to our clients. As a cyber practitioner, my job is to enable the business to perform their transactions securely. One other client story that I'll kind of share with you, and this became real to me when the CFO of a cruise line, one of our clients, went to the board and said, we are going to add $1 billion of revenue using our digital channels. So this is a cruise line that is going through a digital transformation. And one of the big challenges for us was to create that omni-channel experience, the ship-shore experience for the customers. And what became real for me was we have to enable the technology to meet the business need so that the CFO could go back to the board and say, yep, we have generated $1 billion in incremental revenue. So I have lots of these examples, a life sciences example, where researchers and scientists are working on drug research and bringing drug to market. So what we need to do from a cyber perspective is how can we enable these researchers to come into the environment more securely and create a frictionless, seamless experience.
Yeah. I was looking at your answer and listening to the examples you gave, which are basically CIAM, customer IAM, two of them CIAM, one extended workforce. I had this hypothesis when we think about identity and not as a cost center, but as a value generating type of business. It is hard to think outside of CIAM because CIAM, yes, you put $1, you get more clients, revenue. But I like the last example, which you gave is researchers or external employees or non-employees accessing this. The less friction they have to do that, it also enables business.
Absolutely.
I think those are great examples. And my hypothesis is there anything outside of customer, outside of the either B2B or B2C
Yes.
type of
Yes.
more workforce focus that we could think of making identity more as a cost center. Yeah, there's the risk avoidance and the cost avoidance of user provisioning, for example, and efficiency of getting access. Do you see other examples, perhaps in your career, 25 plus years? By the way, I remember Web SSO. Oh my God, that brought me back. WAM, Web Access Management.
Yes.
But do you see other examples? There are perhaps workforce that are not just, oh, this is good. It's saving me money, but no, it's making me money, which I think it's an interesting difference.
Yeah. So Enrique, the one other, so I was with our chief economist a few months back, and he was talking about the macroeconomic trends right now. So if you look at our clients and their businesses, today they're dealing with supply chain disruption. They're dealing with the impact of tariffs. And what does that mean? They are going to different suppliers in different countries. Our clients are going through more transactions than they have ever done before. Like we are seeing an increase in M&A activity. That is another area where identity plays a critical role. This is where we are enabling the business. How do we onboard hundreds and thousands of users so that they have a seamless experience? The last thing you want is parent entity and acquired entity having two different identity systems. So we have such an important critical role, again, to enable the business to get seamless access, the right level of security, and without identity, without the right identity technologies, the processes, and the right team, the people process technology, and the right level of data, it is very difficult to enable business.
No, I love it because how many times we're talking to clients, even prospects, and they ask us, I say, well, no, I like the idea. Please help me to talk to the business in a way that we can justify this. So I think those examples are just a great way to illustrate that, a blueprint, if you will, to have those kind of conversations.
Yeah, but I think it's also like we have to shift, and I say we as an industry, right?
Yes.
Like the practitioners in general, like we have to shift the mindset of how we approach all of it, right? And the conversation I had last night, he was talking with, a customer, and they were talking about, they're excited to get started on their journey, things like that. And the guy, he was just asking me all these questions. How do we do this? How do we do this? How do we do this? And I finally had to say, dude, like technology is not the answer to everything.
Yeah.
No.
Right? Like, well, and if we do this, how are we going to get audit to agree to do this? And I was like, you go talk to them and ask them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, well, but they always did this and they're old school. And I was like, then you have to go ask them and say, well, you did it this way before. If I show it to you this way, well, they're never going to accept that. Then you got to go figure out and come up with a compromise. Like, we have to get past this, like, technology is going to make it better. Technology is going to make it better. Technology is going to make it better. It's not always going to make it better.
Yeah.
And maybe there is an answer, but also the answer is going to them and saying, hey, listen, I know that this is what you're used to and this is your process and this is what you want. So now let's have a conversation and get to why is it that you want something a specific way, right? Okay, so you know that your process is X, Y, Z, and this is what you want, right? And you're telling me to do something that I feel is inefficient, but this is what you're saying to do, okay? Well, I can sit here and we can butt heads all day long, or I can go, we're teammates. We work for the same company. At the end of the day, like, we want the same thing. So let me figure out why is it that you want this, and then show you that, hey, this is what you want, but I'm showing you that I can get you to the same result just in a different way, and it's more efficient. And I was like, these are things, this is identity all day long. And that's the one thing that I think we've lost in the industry is that we forget that so much part of this is you've got to get involved with the business and talk to them. And some of it needs to be changing your process. Some of it needs to be changing the technology. And one of the things that I told this customer at the end of the day is like, this is how you need to measure this, right?
Yeah.
When you look at it, you should be tweaking on both sides, right? Yeah. And neither side should ever tweak too much. If you're tweaking the business process too much, you're wrong. If you're tweaking the technology too much, you're wrong. But you should never be sitting there and going, well, the technology should solve everything. And you should never be saying, well, the business absolutely has to change.
Those are
right. It should be a mixture of both, right? And for those of us who are musicians, stuff like that or whatever, it's like when you're on a mixing board, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to get the perfect mix and balance. I'm going to raise the treble up just a little bit. Now I'm going to pull down the bass. Like, you're constantly trying to find that perfect mix and blend. And I think in the industry we lost that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm always going to be critical of us first in the industry. We live and breathe this, right? It's our job to be in this and helping our customers and reminding them. Doesn't matter if we're on the vendor side, the practitioner side, wherever, right?
Yeah.
We have to do that because they look to us to go, hey, what are these answers, right? And it's sometimes calling them out and not telling them what they want to hear. Like, oh, okay, we're going to do this. No. Like, hey, you got to go do some work. So you're going to go have to talk to the audit team. You're going to go have to talk to your application owners. And yes, you're going to have to spend some hours. And yes, maybe there's some technology that'll make it better, make it easier. Yes, maybe a consulting company will come in and do some work for you, but like you still have to do some work as well, right? And I think those are some of the things that we have to get back to, because I think that what we're going to see over the next really 3 years with where we are with technology and how the opportunity that AI presents, right? And I want to be very clear when I say that, because it's, there's all this buzz around AI and what it can be and what it can do, but it's very clear the opportunity that's presented and how it's allowing us to change the way we operate, right? And so that opportunity is going to give us this ability to completely change the way a lot of people work and how we address a lot of these problems. And that's not something that we can ignore, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think leaning into that and giving our customers the ability to go, like, there's ways that you can address problems that you couldn't even imagine doing before.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So a couple of thoughts, David, that come to mind, and you brought up some excellent points. And by the way, my daughters are in orchestra, so your music and how you play together.
We got to talk more about music in this episode.
yes. They're violinists, and so to your point, like how the orchestra comes together is so important. And as I think about your point around engaging the business, we often in cyber get into our technical jargon.
Yep.
We talk about kill chain, indicators of compromise, and we lose business at that point when we start using that language.
Very much.
What we need to really focus on is talking in business terms. What is the business impact? What is the business risk tolerance? Because we have to partner with the business to design the right process. To your point, we have to design the right end state process. And with AI, we actually have an opportunity to do that. We have an opportunity to rethink how we have historically done things and how we should be leveraging AI in our future state process. And it should really be a partnership with business to get the right level of security. And business should be in the discussion, signing off on the risk tolerance. Because we are not doing things to them, we are doing it with them.
Right.
So that is so important. Great point, David.
I think going back to balance, it's almost like we're balancing three things. The two that they brought up, which I think 100%, it's solid advice, which is the technology and the processes, right? They're fine-tuning those two things. And the third one, which is we got to talk the same language.
Yes.
If we're too deep into the weeds of what identity, proficiency, and OAuth 2.0, we lost the audience here.
Yes.
We saw at Gartner how much they're pushing the idea of outcome-driven metrics. So having leaders talking more on this sense of business language of, hey, let's talk about the outcome. Let's talk more about the problem we're solving versus the tool, and balancing those three things. Do you agree? Makes sense. Number one, I love the rule of three, but also it's easy to remember. And it's a process, it's the tools, but also the language we use. I think good stuff we're coming up.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. And that is the other part that we have to unlearn. Like, I would love to talk about Spiffy and SAML and what, to your point. But that's where we geek out, but not with the business.
No.
Right? So yeah, couldn't agree more, Henrique.
Music now. What's your favorite band?
U2.
U2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And they have stayed a band together. And I think that the power of the team in identity, the power of the team in cyber, it is so important.
Perseverance. I can think of a few identity vendors that they just persevered and perhaps they thrived because of that. I can think like Pearl Jam, another band like that. So of all the grunge bands, is Pearl Jam the best band of that era? I don't think there were, but they just stay longer.
Yeah.
Are they still the same band? I
think they changed drummers, but
they changed
mostly,
drummers?
yeah. So.
Is it Eddie Vedder? Is that the?
Eddie Vedder's the singer.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I know a little bit. I know a lot.
I know.
It's not my genre.
R&B.
Not my thing. And so I know.
I'm learning classical music. I mean, I am developing bigger appreciation for classical music now because the girls are playing violin.
Right.
So yeah.
How many girls do you have?
Two daughters. Yeah.
What
They both play violin?
13 and 11. Yeah.
Oh man.
They're both in the orchestra. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's I enjoy watching them and hearing them. Yeah.
So you're playing with them?
No, not yet.
No, that was
it's a tough instrument to learn. That's what I've realized.
It's
it
the
takes a
most
lot of
difficult.
practice.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's no frets. It's. No, I really admire.
What is that? Technically, right? There's a fret on a violin, isn't it?
No, it's fretless.
Oh, it is fretless?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you gotta wee.
Oh,
Takes a lot of practice.
Right. Okay.
That's what I'm learning. Yeah.
But yeah, the longevity of what we do in identity too, and in cybersecurity companies that say, no, we know who we are. How many times at Gartner I spoke with startups and vendors and they say, tell me who you are. And not all of them, they have that answer tip of the tongue. It's saying, no, we do this, the AI. So, and we started with that question, AI, and in this conference here. Yes, I think it's changed the way we work. It's changing the way we'll protect. It's changing the way attacks are being constructed as well. However, too many noise, isn't it, Ayan? And how do we even come out with perhaps recommendations or suggestions to filter out the noise from the good stuff?
Yeah. So,
what do you think,
Henrique? A couple of thoughts, and going back to the 3 points, 3 S's. So I have started using that in my client discussions. Design for speed, design for scale, and design smarter systems.
Speed, scale, smart.
So going back to the days of human identity and smaller population, now we are dealing with a higher volume of identities. So the need for scale is so important. The human IDs, non-human IDs, I talked about speed. The way zero-day exploits were leveraged in attacks, the time to exploit is shrinking rapidly. So that speed is so important. Like as we design systems, as we think about identity for the future, we need to design for speed, which is fundamental. We need to make our systems more intelligent. So for me, again, the fact that we have started building more intelligence and more AI into our identity systems is very exciting. And for me, that is where the innovation is going to happen. Like a lot of good innovation, and some of our alliance partners who are thinking along those lines, who are embedding speed, scale, intelligence into their innovation journey, are absolutely going to be the winners at this point.
That's very good, because I think everybody a little bit afraid of bubble scenarios. We saw the bubble of web, because there was a lot of good stuff happening at that point and a lot of garbage. Right? So I can imagine with AI a lot of real good, revolutionary, innovative stuff, and a lot of, you're just doing, you don't know what you're doing. It's a bunch of people in Brazil typing things and you're selling that as AI. And we saw examples, real companies that, no, our AI was a bunch of guys like just typing in the back end, right? So I think a lot of leaders are a little bit, okay, I know I need to be fast, but I'm super cautious about making the wrong call here.
Yeah, and Henrique, I mean, some of us have been in the identity space for several years now, or decades, I should say. And if you think of...
It's just years. It's just years.
Thank you.
And way back when we started talking about access control, certification, SOX compliance, we enabled more rubber stamping.
That was year 2000. Yeah.
That wasn't real security in my mind. So the fact that we are really talking about identity security now, for me, that couldn't be more exciting, because I get excited talking about building a secure and more trusted working world. So for me, identity security is here to help us get there.
Yeah.
Do you remember what Sachin said about the certification campaigns? I think, man, this is brilliant. And not because our CEO, but he said something about certification campaigns. So if you're running a certification campaign and you're removing 5%, 2% of entitlements, you're doing compliance.
Yes.
Now, if you're doing this and now you have a recommendation, you're removing 60%, 7% of entitlements, you're doing security.
Yes.
Wow,
absolutely.
This is kind of brilliant.
Zero standing privileges, just-in-time
Yes, you're
access. Yeah,
shrinking the attack surface.
yeah. So important.
Yeah. I'm on the other foot. I don't believe in access reviews at all, but that's a different conversation. So I will say this. I agree with you. I like where we're going from just the identity security standpoint of it, right? I want to see identity get to the point where we're less about the compliance aspect of it and the administrative aspect of it, and more about looking at identity from a true like risk perspective. Like here's all this access, here are all these things. What does it mean, right? What does it mean for this account and these access and these privileges within my organization, right?
Yeah.
David has access to these cloud accounts, these privileges. So what does that mean, right? Cool, David accesses this 35 times a day. Is that good? Is that bad? Right? He has access to this much data. Like to start having these kind of intelligent conversations around like the type of risk that this brings to the organization. So this has been awesome. We're gonna wrap up with a couple of things. I want to get back to IVIP because this came up at dinner last night. And we could not figure out so somebody went to the session and was like, yeah, they came up with this new acronym at Gartner, IVIP, and we made the joke, because like, all Gartner analysts get their bonuses based on if they come up with an acronym and it sticks. But like, what does it stand for? What is it? Because I remember we talked about it at Simpers. What is it? IVIP is
Identity Visibility and Intelligence Platforms.
Okay, all right,
And it's a hoax. And analysts don't get paid by the acronym. I can attest. But I did call one of my old good friends at Gartner and say, hey, what is this about? So I did ask them. And what was interesting, I didn't see from that angle, because we talk about ISPM as well, Identity Security Posture Management.
Right.
And so my question was more about, what's the interaction or an intersection of both? And the way they describe, visibility, it crosses security. There are things we can do, for example, with IVIP, which includes, for example, license management. Mm-hmm. So are you overusing licenses? Are they way to? So that has nothing to do with security.
Right.
So, okay, I can see that. And as a reporting dashboard of visibility, it includes other things that are not security. Yeah. While security posture management, it's mostly focused on reducing attack surface and improving your posture, right? So in security. So I think I was satisfied for now, but I want to go deeper and maybe another episode on this.
Interesting, because I could see that kind of going back to like the enablement discussion, right? Like, I just think in general, right? And we'll kind of close with this, right? Going back to making an enabler, right? I think we have to kind of retrain when I say we, us as our practitioners, how we see ourselves in the business and get out of us putting ourselves in that hole of like, well, we just do this, right? And nerding out on our little technical things. Yeah. And when we come to the table, being able to do things and asking those questions around, hey, like as a business, like what drives you every day? Like what's your P&L, right? Talking to them in their language. Mm-hmm. And so things like license management or things like that or whatever, like realizing that we've got to be able to understand what we can bring to the table and that can help them succeed at what they do. And I think AI is going to help with that because instead of being threatened by like, hey, now AI allows even a business to come up with apps and things like that, I think what it will do would be interesting is that now it can kind of be that translator for us where a lot of us, we sit there in our technical, like we want to talk about spiffy, all this stuff, whatever. Well, they don't know that, but now they can just say, you know what I want? I want an app and here's the things that I want to do. And then AI can just kind of make it. And then we can go, oh, that's what you want? Well, okay, to do that, you really need this is whatever. And don't deploy that app yet because there's a whole bunch of stuff we need to do on the backside. But now all of a sudden, right? Like, cool, we can make this happen for you. Let's do some stuff over here that we need to do. Don't worry about it. We're going to make it a little bit more secure, add something in here. But now we know what you want, business, and we can help you get there faster, more securely, right? And now it's, there's this kind of real conversation happening where we know what it is you're wanting, and now we just kind of have this translation layer, right? I don't know. I feel like we can kind of get closer to that where it's like now we're truly helping and working with the business, and like I think AI can help us get there.
Absolutely. And David, one other point I will highlight, because this is how I make friends in the business. AI can actually help me bend the cost curve for doing identity and cyber. So it can absolutely help me from an affordability standpoint. Our businesses have a big agenda to build more affordable, and affordability is a big priority for our clients. And using AI, we can absolutely bend the cost curve. So I talk a lot to my clients and CISOs and cyber leaders and identity leaders, and we need to hold ourselves accountable. We need to be given what is happening around us, and this is back to my 3 A's. Accountable, adaptable, and agile. So agility,
So much
adaptability, and accountability. We need to hold each other accountable.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll use that to make more friends next time. Yes. No, Ayan, it's been great.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this with us. I love the conclusion we got here together of the product, process, the language, and I'm very grateful. I think the audience would appreciate that as well.
Thank you for having me,
No,
Henrique. This was
our
awesome.
pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank you,
you coming
David.
through, man.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right.
That was good, eh,
That was
David?
really good, man.
Man, Ayan Roy.
Ayan,
Who knew?
2 violinists. It's pretty awesome.
Without frets.
Without here's why I thought they had frets. Because of the strings, like I just
Yes.
assumed like there would be frets there or whatever.
No, super difficult
Yeah.
as identity in cyber.
Yeah.
People like to say it's difficult.
I had a surprise for you though. I picked up acoustic guitar.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, I've been playing for a while.
Yeah?
I'll tell you off camera. It's a long story, but I started playing again.
Nice.
So, yeah, working on got to build up my calluses again. So.
Well, I'm holding myself back here not to jump into advice mode. And speaking of good advice, what Ian said on the 3 things, well, I think we came on that conclusion of the balance.
Yeah.
Right, the balance, and I like your analogy. Well, I'm an analogy guy, but how you're mixing things up so it's a good level of product, the process, the language. And that was something that I was always very self-conscious about.
Yeah.
Even in the natural sense of language, like the Portuguese and English being a second language, and how AI can help me if I go, Gemini, polish this
Right.
in a way that my colleagues would clearly understand.
Yeah.
What you said about that too, in the language side of AI could help us in identity to rewrite and polish this the way the business can understand.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
I think it's
so
gonna be huge. Right.
Yeah.
And I like his I like the 3 S's, right?
that too.
Yeah. So it was the let me see if I can remember them. It was the speed, scale,
And
Right.
smart.
and smart, right?
Yes.
Always gotta keep it simple, man.
I
Stick
love
to
the rule of
3s.
threes. It's easy to remember. No, it was a very good, entertaining, but
Yep.
also I learned a lot.
Always will.
Did you learn?
Always learn a lot, man.
I'm always learning with you, and it's hard not to.
We get the great guests, man. It's always the guests, never me. So
Let's
all
do
right.
it.
Let's do it, buddy.